The sun was just dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows across the winding coastal road when a Ferrari screeched to a halt, smoke curling from under its hood. The driver, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, slammed his hands against the steering wheel and cursed under his breath. The engine had died, and no amount of pressing the accelerator or turning the key would coax it back to life. Stranded miles from the nearest service station, he stepped out, muttering about the incompetence of modern engineering and the absolute disaster of relying on such delicate machinery. His expensive watch glinted in the dying light as he ran his hands through his hair in frustration. From the side of the road came the sound of light footsteps. A little girl, no older than 7, approached with a basket of wildflowers balanced precariously in her arms. Her dress was simple, faded in some spots but clean, and her hair was tied back with a ribbon that had seen better days. She stopped a few feet away, studying the man with wide, curious eyes.
"Are you okay?"
she asked softly. Her voice had the kind of innocence that could almost make someone forget the catastrophic failure of $1 million car. I can't get this infernal machine to start," he said, his pride wounded. He had survived boardroom battles and hostile takeovers, but a stalled Ferrari on a deserted road had him at a loss, and now I'm stuck out here. The girl tilted her head, considering him carefully. Then, without hesitation, she whispered, "My dad can fix it." Her voice was confident, almost mischievous, as if she knew a secret the world had yet to discover. The man blinked, incredulous. Your dad?" he stammered. "You expect me to trust a little girl's father with this car?" She nodded earnestly. "He's really good. He fixes everything." Her gaze was unwavering, and for reasons he could not explain, the man felt a flicker of hope. Against his better judgment, he followed her to a narrow, unassuming house tucked behind a grove of trees. The driveway was cluttered with old bicycles, a broken lawnmower, and scraps of metal that hinted at mechanical miracles performed within. The girl skipped up the steps, opened the door, and called inside, "Dad, there's a Ferrari that needs saving." Moments later, a tall man emerged, grease smudged across his hands and forehead, but eyes sharp and calculating. He looked like someone who had spent a lifetime coaxing life back into machines others had abandoned. "Show me," he said simply. Back at the car, the millionaire's skepticism was palpable. But within minutes, the man had opened the hood, examined the engine, and muttered a series of observations that sounded like a different language. Then, with deliberate precision, he began working. Sparks flew, wires reconnected, and the smell of oil filled the air. The millionaire watched astonished, as his car seemed to regain life under the touch of this unassuming mechanic. The little girl stood beside him, her eyes bright with excitement. "I told you," she said quietly.
"He can fix anything."
By the time the sun had fully set, the Ferrari roared to life, purring smoothly as if nothing had ever been wrong. The millionaire could hardly believe it. He reached for his wallet, intent on paying a fortune for the service, but the mechanic waved him off. "No charge," he said, "just take care of her." The man looked at the little girl, then back at the millionaire, and a quiet understanding passed between them. Some things, he seemed to imply, were more valuable than money. The millionaire leaned back in his car seat, a mixture of relief and disbelief washing over him. "I don't understand," he said. "How does someone like you fix a car like this?" The little girl giggled. "My dad just knows." She hopped into the passenger seat, and the millionaire drove off, the engine now a perfect throaty roar, the night swallowing their silhouettes as they disappeared down the coastal road. The next morning, the millionaire couldn't shake the encounter from his mind. He returned to the house, determined to thank the man properly. But when he arrived, he found the property abandoned. The garage door hung ajar, tools scattered across the floor, and not a soul in sight. It was as if the man had never existed, and yet the memory of the little girl's voice and her confident assertion remained vivid in his mind. Days turned into weeks, and every attempt to locate the mechanic failed. The Ferrari functioned perfectly, but the memory of that night haunted him. He couldn't help but wonder, who was this man who could command life from a broken machine with nothing but his hands and a quiet confidence? And why had the little girl insisted so fiercely that he could fix it? One evening, a week after the encounter, the little girl appeared at his office building. She was holding the same basket of wildflowers, and her eyes sparkled with the same mischievous certainty. "You still have the car," she said matter-of-factly. "Yes," he replied, leaning back in his chair. "But I need to know, who is your dad? Where can I find him?" The girl's expression changed, a shadow crossing her features. "He's not around much," she said, "but he leaves his work behind sometimes. He fixes things for people who really need it. People like you." She paused, her gaze piercing. "But some things he can't fix, and you might be one of them." The millionaire felt a chill. Her words were innocent, yet somehow menacing. He realized that the night on the coastal road had been more than chance. It had been deliberate, orchestrated by someone who understood him far better than he understood himself. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. She smiled faintly, the kind of smile that suggested secrets and unspoken power. "You'll see," she said, and turned to leave. "Just remember, my dad can fix it, but he chooses when to." That night, the millionaire lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment from that evening. He couldn't escape the feeling that his life had been irrevocably altered by the encounter. The Ferrari, once a symbol of control and status, now felt like a reminder of something larger, something beyond wealth and power. He had been saved, yes, but also tested, and he knew instinctively that the real test was yet to come. Weeks later, the little girl appeared again, this time in the middle of a corporate gala he was attending. She wandered through the crowd as if she belonged, stopping only to whisper, "Remember, my dad can fix it." The billionaire froze, aware that everyone around him thought he was lost in thought, but he knew better. Someone somewhere was watching, influencing, and orchestrating outcomes in ways he could not begin to understand. Then, without warning, the lights flickered, and the sound of shattering glass echoed through the room. Panic erupted. Guests screamed and scattered, and in the chaos, the little girl's voice cut through. "This isn't what he wanted, but he can fix it if it's meant to be." Before anyone could process the moment, the doors burst open, and a team of emergency responders rushed in, containing a situation that had escalated far beyond the billionaire's comprehension. When the dust settled, no one knew exactly what had happened, yet the millionaire did. Somehow he had been guided, tested, and protected, all by a man who remained invisible and a little girl who understood far more than her years suggested. In the quiet aftermath, the millionaire returned to his office, the little girl's words echoing in his mind, "My dad can fix it." He realized, with a shiver, that some things, some people, held power not through money or influence, but through mastery of life's hidden mechanics, a knowledge so profound it bordered on the mystical, and the one who wielded it chose carefully whom to help, whom to challenge, and whom to leave to their own devices. The Ferrari, now polished and gleaming, sat in his garage, a symbol not of wealth but of survival, intervention, and the terrifyingly precise control of someone else's unseen hand. He often wondered if he would ever meet the man who had saved him, but he knew the truth. Some saviors existed not to be known, but to be understood when the time was right. And he knew deep in his bones that the next time the phrase, "My dad can fix it," was uttered, his life or someone else's might hang in the balance once again. From that day forward, the billionaire became a man marked by caution, curiosity, and the constant, unnerving sense that someone far greater than him was always watching, always deciding, always capable of fixing what he could not. And every time he heard the quiet whisper of a child, he felt that same thrill and terror, the knowledge that salvation and disaster came from a place he could neither see nor fully comprehend. And so life continued, but nothing was ever ordinary again. Months passed, and the billionaire found himself increasingly haunted by the memory of the girl and her elusive father. Every decision he made, every deal he negotiated, carried with it an unspoken question. Was he being guided or manipulated? One rainy evening, as he walked through his empty mansion, he noticed the faint scent of oil and wildflowers mingling in the air, unmistakably familiar. He followed it to the garage, expecting nothing. But the Ferrari's engine was running, despite no one being near it. The dashboard displayed a cryptic message. Not all that breaks needs fixing, but some things must be. His pulse raced, heart thundering in the silence. The whisper of a child's voice echoed in the shadows. "My dad can fix it, but sometimes he tests those who think they're safe." And for the first time, The billionaire understood he was not merely saved. He was chosen, observed, and forever caught in the invisible hands of a power beyond his comprehension. That night sleep eluded him, and he realized his life would never again belong solely to him.